Daniel Stillman.
Hey,
So good to see you.
it's good to see you too.
And we'll see more of you at the Never Done Before Facilitation Festival. So I'm curious, for you, what does it mean to be a facilitator in these disrupting times?
Boy, it is a disrupting time. So I first have to say that I have my own personal issues with the word facilitator
Still.
for two reasons. One is the Latin root facile, right, which is to make things easy. And I don't know if it's always our job to make things easy for people. There's some conversations that are hard to have. And I know that we can make it easier through better structure and through inviting the right types of participation. But there is a reason why I prefer the term conversation designer, although it's a stranger way to think of what we do. I think we design conversations for people, a pathway in, an entry point into a conversation that people need to have that they maybe wouldn't be able to have without us. I think in this weird time, it's more important than ever to design conversations well, if for no other reason than we just don't know how to do it here. We've I I was in person having a conversation on Sunday night at dinner, and somebody tried to break into the dialogue, and nobody sort of took up his turn. And then I sort of looked at him, even though he'd gone silent, and my look gave him the assent to re-enter, to try again, to get into the dialogue, and just in a really, really soft way. And that kind of impromptu body language interaction, fluidity, we just don't have. In in-person speech, like a 200 millisecond pause can be looked on as rude. And the kind of delays that we have here online just introduce a rubberiness into the conversation. The material is just gooier. And so I think it needs a firm guiding hand more than ever before. And so somebody should be looking out for the whole conversation. And that's the job of a facilitator.
Love your answer. And I could jump in an entire podcast conversation on that one now, but unfortunately we're not here for that.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think with this working from home and having more meetings online, we now see that the profession of a facilitator or conversation designer is more needed than ever.
Yeah. Just to smooth out the rough edges, if nothing else, like, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah. So you're joining the Never Done Before Facilitation Festival in November.
Okay.
What excites you about this festival, and what can participants expect from your session?
Well, I think if you do what you have always done, you'll get what you have always gotten. I didn't say that. There's a lot of people who put a claim to saying that, but I think it's so important to have opportunities to explore and to experiment and to try things that you've never done before. And I try to create those spaces for myself, like the 80-20 of that Google or 3M support, this idea that like you should have some of your time as an experiment. And so I think I think that's why people come to my workshops in general, is to like see things done in a different way and to try on new ways of being and of doing. And so creating a space where people can experiment is really important. And you're doing that for us as professional facilitators. And you know, the question of I still don't know what I'm going to be doing exactly, but I've got a general sketch of it. And what we will be doing is sketching conversations together. Because I think one of the most important aspects of being a facilitator is having a clear plan. And the best way to have a clear plan is to draw it out. And so what we're going to try and do is draw a plan for a conversation to get a group of people to agree on something.
Wonderful.
And we're going to try and agree on one together. I think that's probably going to happen. See if we can all agree on one way to get a group of people to agree on something.
And this is going to be the big challenge.
Designing agreement through that process.
I am intrigued.
Me too.
And then we'll have another conversation after your session to hear whether it worked.
Yeah, well, yeah, do we get to alignment or not? Because I don't know if we'll have a decider or not. We might try to elect one. This is the sort of funny thing we were talking about democracy before we got started recording. It's like, can we elect a demagogue? Like that would be great. But then like that's such a and this is what people do. It's like, well, how should we decide? And when they say, well, let's elect an autocrat to decide for us, which is a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And why don't we update the election systems, given that the entire world, everything changed? Why don't election systems all over the world are
Yes.
innovated, adjusted?
Well, the idea that we can design how we choose is
Yes.
really what we're kind of getting towards. And you can, right? Like America has the Electoral College, as weird as it is, and Ireland has, multiple choice voting. And when one group looks at how another group decides, it can seem fantabulous or weird or impossible. And so, yeah, this is we're gonna explore how to design a conversation to get people aligned. Because I think by and large, that's what we're trying to do as facilitators: get a group of people to move forward together with buy-in, whatever that means.
Great.
So we'll find that out together.
I'm excited to see you there.
Me too.
November 19th and 20th. Wonderful.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel, for your time.
Thank you.
See you at
See
Never
you
Done
all
Before.
at Never Been Done. Yeah. See you.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Never Been Done Before.